Manchester United on the mend. It was a dominant performance against Norwich City despite missing a couple of penalties. 3-1 victory at Carrow Road. And they're up to 7th in the Premier League.
Lofty heights.
Love it.
Lofty heights. No more talk of...
It's David Moyes heights.
Yeah. There seems to be the sort of tongue-in-cheek talk of relegation has gone away within 7 days. You know how about 10 days ago it was, well, not from us.
No, it was us.
All right, maybe it was. Not me. Us. Could they be dragged in and all that sort of nonsense? But look, they've had a good week by their standards. You know, they had the draw against Liverpool, which they played better, but Liverpool were awful by their standards of the last 18 months. They go to Belgrade, they get, I think, one shot on target, they get a win, but that's kind of what they've been doing at the moment. And then I think Norwich was a good game for them, even though Norwich, some would say, well, you know, Norwich beat Man City. Doesn't matter, right? Don't start because they beat them, they should beat. Norwich have been getting hammered recently. Got beat 5-1 by Aston Villa at home. I think lost at Burnley, lost against, it might have been Palace, I can't remember. They're not in good form. They're trying to play open football, which is going to get them relegated. The things they were doing in the Championship, you can't do in the Premier League. So all this airy-fairy stuff about, no, we're going to keep doing the same things, relegated. So they got them at a good time. But in all fairness, they did the job. You mentioned they missed a couple of penalties. There was several VAR decisions. They were dominant, and it was an easy win for them in the end. But the bar has been so low, and it was interesting. They were over the United fans at the end of the game as if they just qualified for the Champions League final, you know, and just beating Norwich City. That's kind of where they are and how desperate they've been. But it's been a better week for them. But the bar was so low, Roscoe. It was so low. It surely only had to go one way, and that was up.
I'm not going to draw comparisons.
To who?
To the days of 1990 when they went on to win the FA Cup under Sir Alex. Difficult times, obviously. They had some players they were bedding in. They're going to have to do without Pogba for the foreseeable future. McTominay is a player who is really impressed. Do you think he can carry the burden? Do you think he's growing?
I think he's growing, but I don't think he can carry the burden of this club and this team. But he can only do what he can do. But you're absolutely right to talk about 90. Well, somebody actually brought up, well, look, you know, Sir Alex Ferguson came down and not much of his... People are talking about Solskjaer. This is how ignorant some people are out there. His CV wasn't great when he went to United and he managed to get the job done. He toppled the two biggest clubs in Scotland when he was coach at Aberdeen, and he beat Real Madrid in a European Cup Winners' Cup final. And Pete, there was somebody out there saying, well, Ferguson never had any experience. He toppled Rangers and Celtic with Aberdeen. He was at the pinnacle of the Scottish game back then, and almost in Europe. I mean, it's quite incredible how ignorant some people are. It's taken the pressure off Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for the time being. The only people that were not piling on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer back in England were his former mates that are in the media now, that were blaming Mourinho and Moyes and Van Gaal and everybody else when they were having a stinker. But when Solskjaer was in the stinker, they changed it to Ed Woodward and the Glazers. So, you know, read into it what you want. He's off the hook for the time being, and so is Ed Woodward, slightly. But I think long term, United are just going to still have the same problems, and that is, compared to the big two at the top, they're going to be mediocre for a while under Solskjaer and Ed Woodward.
On the track that they are at the moment, qualifying for Europe is going to be a challenge, you would think?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because Leicester look good enough to be in the top 6 for me. Some people are talking about Leicester for top 4. I think they're a top 6 team, which is going to push somebody out. Could be this lot, could be Arsenal, might even be Tottenham, who knows. So yeah, I think there's a big pressure just to get the European football these days. Or they might just have to win the Europa League, which of course will get them in the Champions League. They did that before when they beat Ajax, and that's looking like it might have to happen for them.
With all of that being perhaps true, Daniel James,
Martial,
and also Rashford playing together, that gives them a little bit of hope, does it not, if they can get that consistent lineup in there?
Yeah, but I think the problems are sort of behind. You know, you're absolutely right. Daniel James, any young guy going to a big club like that from Swansea and performing in the way he has, under the pressure and the microscope of a team that's not doing well, has been great. We know Rashford's an excellent player. We're seeing glimpses of that again. Anyone can miss a penalty. And we know Martial's got talent. It's up and down. It's about consistency with him. So they have some very good players, Ross. They just don't, by their standards, have enough at the moment.
Okay, that's the story of Manchester United so far. We'll bring an update next week, I'm sure.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.